based in San Antonio, Texas. My colleague, Craig Griffith in Northern California, is also on the call today, and he is going to be moderating our Q&A session at the end of the live demo. So please submit your questions throughout the session using the Q&A widget on your screen, or click the purple icon at the bottom of the screen. A couple of housekeeping items before we get started. All of the widgets on your screen are resizable and movable, so feel free to move them around and make the most of your space. You will find answers to some common technical questions in the orange question mark help tool at the bottom of your screen. You can download a copy of today's slides in the resources widget on your screen. And at the end of today's session, be sure to get your certificate of participation by clicking on the certificate icon at the bottom of the screen in yellow. If you experience any technical difficulties during today's webinar, such as audio lag or video lag, please refresh your browser. So we'd like to start today with a poll. If you could please let us know, what is your role? Are you a student, undergraduate or graduate, a librarian and information professional, faculty, engineer, or researcher, or something else? And while I give you guys just a minute to answer that question, I'll give you a brief outline of today's presentation. I'm going to start with a few slides to introduce you to IEEE and the content that's available in the IEEE Explore Digital Library. Then we'll go into Explore Live to share some best practices for using IEEE Explore, and we'll save a good 10 minutes at the end for a Q&A session. All right, so let's see here. It looks like we have about close to 30% library and information professional, followed by engineers and researchers, and then undergraduate students, followed by graduate students and faculty, pretty much tied there, and other. So we have a wide range of people on the call today. So again, welcome and thank you for joining us. IEEE is the world's largest technical professional organization with more than 400,000 members around the world. In addition to being a membership organization, IEEE is also a conference organizer, a standards developer, and a publisher. And the content that we publish is discoverable in the IEEE Explore Digital Library, which includes more than 5.4 million full-text documents today. And when most people think of the IEEE, they think electrical engineering and computing, which are our core foundational technologies. But IEEE has 39 societies which cover a wide range of technical interests. And because technology impacts everything, you'll also find technical cross-disciplinary research in the IEEE Explore Digital Library. And the IEEE Explore Digital Library is your gateway to more than 30% of the world's current literature in electrical engineering, electronics, and computer science. This includes almost 200 journals and magazines with expert-authored, peer-reviewed technical articles on a wide range of established and uncharted technologies, conference papers on the latest technology breakthroughs, standards that underpin many of today's top technologies, such as the 802.11 Wi-Fi standard, hundreds of hours of e-learning courses taught by experts in the field on emerging technologies like digital transformation and blockchain, and 9 ebook collections from publishers such as IEEE Wiley, MIT Press, SAE, and more. And your access to this content depends upon your organization's institutional subscription to the IEEE Explore Digital Library. If you're affiliated with a university, many university libraries have institutional subscriptions for their students and faculty. So please check with your librarian to see if you have access to IEEE Explore. IEEE content is highly valued and highly cited. according to the Journal Citation Report from Clarivate Analytics, which looks at how often journal articles are cited by other journals, IEEE publishes many of the top cited journals in our core areas, such as electrical engineering, telecommunications, and computer science. And when you look at the top 50 patenting organizations at the U.S. Patent Office, you find IEEE is cited 3 times more often in their patents than any other science, technology, or medical publisher. And because the technology landscape is always growing and evolving, IEEE is always introducing new publications to address growing areas of research and emerging technologies. This includes 5 new journals on topics such as industrial electronics, information theory, and artificial intelligence, and upcoming journals on signal and power integrity and flexible electronics. The IEEE Conference Collection in IEEE Explore also continues to grow, with over 200,000 conference papers posted in 2020 on emerging and transformational technologies such as artificial intelligence, big data, autonomous driving, Internet of Things, ubiquitous robots, and more. And here you can see some of the 2021 conferences that have taken place so far. And IEEE is constantly adding new e-learning opportunities for users. We now have options for subscribers to the IEEE e-learning library with courses in AI, blockchain, 5G, and more. As you may or may not know, October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and we have a brand new cybersecurity training option from a partnership with ISACA to provide a library of hands-on training courses and labs to build and expand cybersecurity skills, and a partnership with Data Privacy Training Collection from the International Association of Privacy Professionals. IEEE offers professional development opportunities for engineers throughout their careers, and one example of this is IEEE has partnered with Rutgers University to offer an online mini MBA for technical professionals to help engineers bridge the gap between business and engineering as they prepare for career growth. And you can find out more about these and other e-learning opportunities at ieee.org/innovate. The IEEE Innovate site should be linked from the resources module as well. And as I mentioned earlier, IEEE Explore currently hosts 9 ebooks collections. There's over 5,000 ebooks titles, and we continue to add collections of more high-quality titles from other leading publishers. In fact, we just added a new ebook collection from Princeton University Press covering engineering, computing, physics, astronomy, and more. And IEEE is also expanding our open access offerings. Our goal is to provide any author a publication venue regardless of their funding status, the publishing mandates you might have to work within, or where you are in the world. And you can find out more at the IEEE open.ieee.org website. Again, you should see a link to that in the resources module. Okay, before we go live into the IEEE Explore demo, I'd like to do another poll to see how often people use IEEE Explore. So let me know if you use it daily, 1 to 2 times a week, 1 to 2 times a month, rarely, or if you've never used IEEE Explore. And during today's session, I'll be covering best practices for searching and browsing IEEE Explore, using the personalization features to stay up to date on the latest technology breakthroughs, how to find trending content, and access supplemental items such as code, data sets, and multimedia. All right, let's see what our results are. So the vast majority of attendees is pretty evenly split, actually. So the top is 1 to 2 times a month. But yeah, we're pretty well broken out here with new and experienced users. And that's good because regardless of Whether you're a new or experienced user, you're going to find something useful in today's session. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here, so we can take a look at the IEEE Explore Digital Library and do a live demo. So here, just a quick reminder though, the widgets on your screen are resizable and movable, so you can click on the maximize icon in the upper right-hand corner if you want to make the screen bigger. That's showing you my screen and the IEEE Explore Digital Library. So here on the IEEE Explore Digital Library homepage, if your organization has an institutional subscription, you should see an Access Provided By message at the top of the page. And to see what is included in that subscription, you can simply go to My Settings and click on What Can I Access? And that will give you a description of what you have access to. In addition to being authenticated institutionally, you can create a personal account on IEEE Explore to unlock additional features. So a personal account is separate from your institutional subscription and must be signed up for individually, but anyone can sign up for a free IEEE account by clicking on the Create Account link in the upper right-hand corner and just simply follow the steps. But after you log in with a personal account, which I'm going to do real quick here. Oops. You're then going to be able to access the personalization features from the My Settings drop-down menu. And a personal account helps you to customize your experience by enabling you to set up your own personal search preferences. You can also save searches and turn on a search history. You can get email alerts from a wide variety of different types of alerts, including table of content alerts, saved search alerts, author alerts, citation alerts. And some of the new features include the ability to bookmark your favorite publications for easy access on the IEEE Explore homepage, and to utilize the My Research projects to save and categorize documents in IEEE Explore. And as I go throughout today's session, I'll be showing you how to use these different features. But I'm going to start with showing you the top searches in IEEE Explore. This is a way for you to discover trending search terms and concepts. Simply click on Top Searches, Show All, and then I prefer a list view, so I'll typically click on that so that I can see the top 20 search terms, as well as browse the most popular documents here. So this can help you gauge interest and understand what technologies are important to engineers and researchers around the world. For the top search terms, you can simply click on one of those if you're interested in it to run a search for those terms within the full text of the IEEE Explore Digital Library. So for example, if I click on deep learning, it's going to look for the terms deep learning in the full text across all the content in IEEE Explore. But I can also use the global search bar, which you see right above the search results page. This is the same search bar that you see on the IEEE Explore homepage, to do a more precise search of deep learning by placing it within quotes. That forces an exact phrase match. And the global search bar does a search for my search terms in the metadata, so the document title, publication, abstract, index terms, things like that. So it can give me a little bit more of a refined search and a smaller search result set to work with it within. Now on the search results page, there's a variety of options to help you filter and refine your results. So at the top of the page, you'll see you have the ability to search within. So you can add an additional search term and it'll just search within your result set. You can also narrow down by content type So you can see all the different types of content we have in Explore, including conference papers, journal articles, early access articles, which are the preprint documents that have completed the peer review process and awaiting publication in Explore. Magazines are sometimes a great place to start if you're looking for a little bit more of an introductory or overview style article. Those books that I mentioned, e-learning courses, and of course standards. Just below that, we'll give you some publications that you might be interested in. So we recommend some journal and conference titles based on your search. You can always narrow your search result set to the content included in your institutional subscription or to open access only. Below that are the facets. These are different options that you have within Explore to refine your search. So for example, you have complete control over the time frame within which you're searching. So you can select a single year or a range to search within. You can also narrow down by things like author and author affiliation. But these can also give you insights into the search results content. So for example, if we take a look at the author facet, we can actually see the top 5, or if we click view more, the top 25 authors for this search result set. So if you're looking for subject matter experts or key researchers within an area, this can be helpful. You also have the ability to look at the author affiliation. So maybe you're interested in seeing who's publishing a lot on a topic. For example, we can see Google here, NVIDIA, Tsinghua University, or you could even do a search for a specific affiliation. We do have a supplemental items facet, so this allows you to narrow down to content that has media, data sets, video, or code. So the media is anything that an author chose to submit to further illustrate or explain the points in their paper. So this can be video, it can be audio, it can be a PowerPoint presentation, additional images, things like that. The data sets are data sets that have been uploaded into the IEEE data repository called IEEE Dataport, and we just recently expanded that to include other data repositories as well, so you'll start seeing that too. Video is when the conference organizers chose to record the video sessions and integrate them right into the IEEE Explore Digital Library using a video player. And then code is from CodeOcean. So CodeOcean is a cloud-based algorithm platform that allows authors who want to make their code open source can upload it for free, and then we get the code and it's integrated right into the IEEE Explore Digital Library. Another really useful facet is the publication topics facet. So all IEEE content is indexed with keywords that best describe the content of that paper. And what we're looking at here are the top 5 or top 25 keywords for your search. So this can be really helpful if you're exploring a broad topic. Maybe you don't know exactly how to narrow your results. This can help you. Might give you some ideas. So for example, maybe I'm interested in medical imaging processing. I can simply click there and narrow down to those 5,000 plus documents. And then from there, if I want to further narrow down, maybe I'm really interested in medical imaging related to the retinal, I can type within here in the search within. And within IEEE Explore, when you make any refinements, you can always remove them. You're going to see there's a little X box next to each refinement, as well as the original search term. So once you've narrowed down, in this case, I'm now at a much more reasonable 330 documents to work with. But if I wanted to broaden back out and try a different refinement, I can easily do that. And as I'm going through my search results set, I have the ability to change how they're sorted depending on what I'm trying to do. So the default is relevancy ranking. That's going to show me the most relevant content based on my search terms at the top of the page. But in some instances, you may be wanting to see what the most recently published content is on a topic. You can sort newest first. If you're looking for influential papers, you can sort most cited by papers to see which documents in your search results set have been cited most frequently by other journal articles and conference papers. Most cited by patents will give you an indication as to how the content's being used in industry, because patent citations are the best indications of companies' R&D efforts. So you can sort most cited by patents to see which documents in your search result set have been cited most frequently in patent filings at the US Patent Office and the European Patent Office. And the newest option is most popular. So if you want to see what other people around the world are reading the most from your search result set, you can sort most popular. But for my purposes today, I'm going to go ahead and leave it as relevancy ranking. As I look through my search results, now that I've got it exactly the way I want my search done, I can set a search alert. So this is part of those personalization features that I mentioned earlier. You can simply set a search alert, give it a quick name, click save, and once a week you'll be notified of any new content that's been added into Explore that meets your search criteria. So it's a great way to stay up to date on an ongoing area of research or a topic of interest. You'll notice here for the first document in my search results set that this one has supplemental items such as code. So I can jump right to those by clicking on the links. I can download the full text PDF because this is included in my subscription, which I know because there's a green unlocked icon here. Or I can click on the document title to go to the full text HTML version of the article and the expanded abstract. And I would encourage everyone to take a look at those for really valuable articles on your topic, value-added features in the full text HTML that you're not going to get in the full text PDF. So as you're scrolling through here, you'll notice you have an abstract. There's a document outline, so you can see the different sections within the paper. If you want to jump to a particular section, you can just simply click on it. You also have the ability to search within the document to see your keywords in context. You can increase the size for easier reading. But as you scroll through, if you see any equations in the document, you can click either on View Source here, or you can put your cursor over it and do a right mouse click to show math as either math ML code or the tech command. And when you click on those, it'll open up a new box and you can simply highlight and copy and paste, in this case the tech, into a program with an equation editor. So obviously that's something you can do in the full text HTML that you're not going to be able to do in the full text PDF. If we go back to the top of the page, just below the document outline are some additional sections with information about the paper. For example, we can look at the authors, and if there is an author that we are interested in seeing more about, we can simply click on that author name to open up the author details page. So on this page, you're going to see a little bit more about the author, including their bio, their photo, who their top co-authors are, what are their top publication topics. And as you scroll down, you'll be able to see a complete list of their publications within IEEE Explore. And we're able to do this by gathering all the variations of their name. If they have an ORCID ID, you can also link out to their ORCID profile. But if you're logged in with that personal account, you can also click on Follow this author to set up an author alert. This will let you know anytime this particular author submits, publishes any more papers in IEEE Explore. Just below the authors section are the figures. So the figures appear throughout the full text HTML at the bottom of the page, and you can either scroll through vertically here, or if you click to open one of these images, you then have the ability to quickly and easily scroll through all the images by just clicking on next and previous. If there's an image you're interested in saving or copying, just simply do a right mouse click over the image and click Save Image As or Copy Image. Below the figures are the references. So this is the works cited or bibliography that the authors used when they wrote this paper. Below the references are the citations. So these are the papers that have cited this document since it was published. We track IEEE citations, citations from other publishers, and patent citations. Keywords. Remember when we talked about that publication topic facet? Well, these are the different index terms that are available for this particular document. So we index content from the IEEE thesaurus, from InSpec, which is an abstracting and indexing company, and if the author provided them, we'll include their keywords as well. All of these are hyperlinked, so it'll generate a search for other documents indexed with that same term. And it's also a great place to get ideas for additional search terms that you might not have thought of. The metric section will basically tell you how many times this document's been downloaded, citation lists from other databases, and even if the document's been cited online in Wikipedia or on Twitter. So it's useful to see how run and download the code. So here you can see as it's loading, there's an option to run the code. You can open up their data here. You can actually launch the code to view it, and you have the option to edit it so you can test changes to the code. And then if there's a data set associated with this paper, we'll also provide the link to that in the data set tab here. All right, so let me go ahead and go back up to the top of the page. I wanted to show you guys the new feature. It's part of the personalization features, which is called My Research Projects. So when you're at the top of the page, if you're logged in with your personal account, you can click this Save To folder icon and then click Research Projects. So each person has the ability to create up to 15 research projects and then save up to 1,000 documents into each project. You can add to an existing project, or you can create a new project here at the bottom of the page. I'm just going to go ahead and click on one of my existing projects. You can take notes to remind yourself why this paper maybe is important, and then you can categorize it with your own tags. So for example, retina. And then click Save to add it to the project. You can access your projects from the My Settings drop-down menu by going to My Research Projects. And this is a great way to keep up with with where you got your ideas from if you're working on a project or a paper, and organize your reasons. You can come in, go to that project, see the complete list of papers in the project, and then you can download the citations for all of those papers, up to 100 at a time, by clicking on Select All on Page, and then using Export to download the citations either in plain text or a format for a bibliographic management system. You can also read your notes and see your tags from here. So up at the top of the page is that global search bar again. So it follows you around throughout the site. So you can always start a new search from wherever you are. The default is to search across all of the content and explore, but you can use the drop-down menu to search within a particular content type. You can also do an author search from here, or you can do a citation search, which is basically a publication title search. But just below the global search bar is the link to the advanced search, which gives you 3 tabs, so 3 different options for advanced searching. One is called the citation search. This is a known item search. It's when you're looking for a very specific document in IEEE Explore, fields that you know, and it'll look for that document. The command search is a free-form text box that allows you to do command language searching. You can also do command language searching on the global search box, but sometimes people prefer to use the command search box because it has drop-down menus. So if you want to search within a specific field, such as the full text and metadata, you can easily do that from here. But most people can get what they need from the global search bar and the advanced search tab in the advanced search options. And the advanced search tab is a guided way to do a little bit more complex searching. It starts with 3 search boxes. You can add until you have a total of 10 on the page. The default, again, will be to search the metadata, which again is the abstract, document title, publication title, index terms, and bibliographic citation information. But on the drop-down menu, you could broaden your search and search either the full text and metadata or full text only. This will typically result in more search results than metadata only. You also have fields that you can search within, such as the index terms or abstract. This will typically retrieve fewer search results. You can also do searching by author affiliation. So you could do a search on your own organization to see what people are publishing from there, or you could do a search on a competitor. You could also do a search on a company that you know is doing a lot of cutting-edge research in your topic and check and see what else they've been writing about. You can check and see what's being funded by a particular funding agency and many other options here. And then you can combine your search terms with Boolean operators or connectors and or not. And means you want all of the search terms, or means you want any of the search terms, and not means you want documents that do not include a specific search term. So let's say I'm interested in the reliability of vehicle-to-everything communications. So I can type in vehicle to everything. In this case, I'm going to put it within quotes because that's how you tell the database to search for an exact phrase. But that's sometimes referred to as V2X or CV2X. So I want to go ahead and put all of these similar terms or synonyms in my search. The best way to do that on the advanced search page is to type them all into one search box separated by the OR operator. You need to search OR within all caps. Otherwise, it won't recognize it as an operator. And the reason you want to put it in one search box is because the search engine automatically nests each individual search box on the advanced search page. So nesting is the concept of placing your search terms and operators within parentheses to designate the order in which they're processed. So it's going to automatically put parens around what I've typed here in the first search box. And then in the second one, it'll put a paren around it too. But in this case, I was talking about reliability, but maybe I want to pick up reliable and all variations of that word. So I can use an asterisk wildcard, which stands for any or no character in Explore. You can use up to 7 asterisk wildcards per search. You can place it at the end of a word, in the middle of a word, or at the beginning of a word, which some people call left truncation. But basically in this case, what I've done is I've put it after the B. And what it's saying is the database to look for any word that begins with what I've placed in front of the asterisk. So in this case, anything that begins with R-E-L-I-A-B. And when we get here to the search results page, you'll be able to see how it nested each search box for me. Top of the page, you'll see the search string. And here you can see how it placed parens around everything that I put in the top search box, and it placed parens around the second search box for me. And as we scroll through, you'll be able to see how it picked up reliable and reliability for me. Again, I can save this search to be notified as new content's added into Explore. I can export documents into an Excel spreadsheet or the citations from here. And I even have the ability to go through and select up to 10 documents and download those PDFs all at one time. So this is a bulk PDF or multi-PDF download option here. All right, so that's some on searching in Explore. I'm going to go ahead and switch over and spend the last few minutes of the live demo on browsing. There's a prominent browse drop-down menu on every page in Explore, and it's organized by type of content. So the first option is the books that we talked about earlier. Again, we have 9 collections of ebooks within IEEE Explore. You can browse the ebooks either by title or by topic. So within IEEE Explore, we have organized all the content or categorized it by 16 topical areas. You can always browse one of these topical areas regardless of what type of content you're browsing. You can browse by title, so you can put in a unique word or phrase to look for a specific ebook or any ebooks with that word in the title. You can browse by selecting a letter of the alphabet, or you can do something like, for example, maybe I'm just interested in the IEEE Wiley ebooks, so I can narrow down by publisher, and I want to browse and see the most recently published content, so I'm going to sort newest first here. And now I can take a look and see what are some of the most recently published ebooks. If I see one I'm interested in, I can simply click on that title, and if I have access to it, I'll be able to download the entire ebook at the top of the page. Collection, I even have the ability to download individual ebook chapters. Browsing conferences is similar in that you'll be able to browse either by title or by topic. One of the nice things about browsing by conferences is you can browse by acronyms. So a lot of times we know certain conferences just by the acronyms and not what they are. So in this case, I can just type in ISSCC and it will find the conference for me, the IEEE International Conference on Solid State Circuits. I can then see all of the years that are available in Explore. Click on the year that I'm interested in, and from there I can either browse or search within those particular conference papers. So here you'll see I have the ability to search within. I can just browse. I can also change how it's sorted. So maybe I want to see the most cited papers from this conference, things like that. Next on the list is courses. So we have hundreds of hours of e-learning courses available in IEEE Explore. We have them on a wide variety of topics. At the top of the page, you're going to see some course programs. So these are a series of courses on cutting-edge technologies, things such as machine learning, digital transformation, designing blockchain solutions, and more. Or as you continue to scroll down, you'll also see additional categories that you can click into, such as computing. And then within there, you have the ability to browse subcategories within the computing courses. So we have a plethora of courses on a wide variety of topics within computing here that you can select from. Journals and magazines is pretty much the same as the books and conferences in that you're going to have that by title or by topic option. I'm going to do a quick search for cybernetics here. I'm looking for any title with the word cybernetics in it or title history. And then I can simply click on the title I'm interested in. From here, I can browse the most popular documents. I can browse the early access articles, which are the preprint or forthcoming documents that have completed the peer review process and are awaiting publication in Explore. Or I can go right to the current issues. And from here, depending on my subscription, I may be able to download the entire issue cover to cover for offline viewing. And if this particular publication is really important to me and I want to read it regularly, I can log in with my personal account, and then I can click Add to my alerts to set up a table of content alert. I can also click Add to my favorites to bookmark it to the IEEE Explore homepage for easy access. And lastly, browsing standards. Standards are slightly different, so you're going to see the ability to browse either by collection. So we have a wide variety of collections here. But if you click on one of them, such as telecommunications, the different sub-collections within telecommunications, that's a way to sort of browse topically. Or you can browse by number by clicking on the By Number tab. And if you're looking for a very specific standard, you can either go to the range or type the standard number into the search. And then you'll quickly and easily see the current active approved version as well as the other additional versions including the inactive and superseded. All right, so we're going to go back to the slides here. Before we open up for the Q&A, just a quick mention of the IEEE Client Services team, which I am a member of. We are here to help you guys and offer training. So there's a variety of options available. We provide IEEE Explore training like you saw today. We also do authorship workshops. We do deep dives into specific topics such as standards, and we also do sessions for students on the broader IEEE. All right, so now it's time for our Q&A session. So I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to my colleague Craig Griffith to see if we have any questions in the chat box.
Hey, Jalen, can you hear me?
I can.
Okay, perfect. So, yes, we've had a couple of questions. And the first we might start off with is somebody is wondering if they have the ability to see a list of the fully open access titles on Explore.
Yeah, absolutely. So let me real quick share my screen again and point out a couple of things. So one, we can go to Browse Journals and Magazines. And we've recently added a filter on the Browse Journals and Magazines that will allow you to narrow down to just the fully open access journals or the titles with some open access. So we do have things you can go to. In addition, you can go to open.ieee.org and you'll find this link in the resources module. And it will also tell you more about the fully open access journals and the hybrid open access journals. IEEE has many options for authors who are interested in publishing publishing OA. So please do take a look at this if you're interested in that.
Perfect. And then we've had a number of questions regarding publishing. And people are wanting to know, how to get published with IEEE, a number of questions related to that. Could you speak a little bit to that, please?
Yeah, absolutely. So we did get some, I know we had some questions pre-submitted, and I'm sure we got some live today about publishing. That was sort of outside the purview of today's session, but we regularly offer IEEE authorship webinars, and in the resources module you're going to see a link to additional IEEE webinars. Click on that and you can see some of the on-demand ones that have happened in the past and watch them, or you can sign up for an upcoming one. But in addition to that, there should also be a link to the IEEE Author Center in the resources module. And there's many tools available in the IEEE Author Center to help you with this process. We have a publication recommender, which will help you identify the appropriate journal to submit your paper to. There's templates, there's a reference assistant, and many other resources here within this website.
Perfect. Thank you. Two specific questions. One is wondering if there was a cost for publishing a paper with IEEE.
So there is not a cost to publish traditionally, right? If you submit your paper to an IEEE Explore traditional journal and you do not choose to make it open access, there is no fee. If you choose to make your article open access, that does require an article processing charge, or APC, and basically that's to offset the costs of publishing that we usually recoup through making the articles available via a paywall. But your articles go through the same peer review process regardless of whether you use open access or not and are paying a fee.
Perfect. Thank you. And then someone was wondering how they could determine, which maybe journal or conference or between journals, what's faster in publishing? Is there a way to get some idea as to that?
Yes. So I would come to the IEEE Author Center and click on the Journal Authors tab here. You should see a link to the publication recommender. Actually they call it Find a Journal, so they make it even a little more easier. A page where you can learn more about it and go to the IEEE Publication Recommender then. And once you're in the IEEE Publication Recommender, you can do just a quick search on your topics. So I'm just going to pick a search here. Get the recommendations, and once you get the recommendations, it's going to tell you things like the impact factor, the average submission to publication time in Explore, so you can compare those here.
Wonderful. Perfect. Okay, so moving on. Someone is wondering if the conference papers and journals that are on Explore are peer-reviewed.
Yeah, so our journals all have a scholarly peer review process. The conferences go through some sort of paper selection, so they could be through a single blind, double blind peer review process or some other process. But to get the exact details, you need to go to a specific IEEE conference website to see what their process was. So each conference is unique in how they go through the paper selection process. But all of the IEEE journals go through the traditional peer review process.
Wonderful. And speaking of journals, I know sometimes we refer to them as journals, transactions, magazines. And someone's wondering what the difference is between the journals, transactions, and magazines.
Right. So journals, transactions, and letters are all basically scholarly peer-reviewed journals. Traditionally, there was a difference between journals and transactions. Today, there's not so much. It's typically more the individual IEEE society that publishes it. But journals, transactions, and letters publish technical papers in IEEE fields of interest. The journals and transactions are typically 8 to 10 pages in length, whereas a letter is typically a shorter, maybe 4-page paper. And then the magazines are more practice-oriented content. You'll see general news, regular columns, things like that within the magazines. And some of our magazines are written in such a way that anybody can read them. So they're a good introductory source, particularly the IEEE Spectrum magazine, our flagship magazine. And then some of the societies have similar flagship magazines like Computer Magazine from the IEEE Computer Society.
Great. Someone is wondering how they can find out the content that's included in their in the subscription at their institution, because
yes.
They're looking, they saw that some books weren't included, and so they wanted to find out if they could limit it to what's included.
Yeah, so 2 things. As long as you're logged in and you see an access provided by your institution name, you can go to My Settings and click on What Can I Access? This will then show you the specific subscription in at your university, company, government agency that you work for, whatever it is, but it'll give you a specific description with links out to the titles. And then in addition, when you're doing a search, we'll quick search here on Java, you can limit your search results to your subscribed content on the left-hand side. So there's going to be a little module, and you'll notice there's also an option for open access only. The subscribed content will include the open access content as well. So that subscribed content filter will show you anything that you have access to, and will weed out anything that's not included in your subscription.
Excellent. Thank you. Okay. Related to that, someone's asking about their university subscription. How do they know about it? I'm just going to interject here that I would look at your library web page under databases and do a search for IEEE Explore. And if you can't find it, then be sure and speak to your university librarian and ask them about it, because it could be that you were just unable to find it for some reason. But they would be the definitive answer for that if your university subscribes. Let's see. One is wanting to know if a search term with brackets can be used. So could you run a search with brackets on Explorer?
So I don't know if the brackets is like, you mean it's a special character. If that's the case, IEEE Explorer sort of ignores special characters and just sort of has a placeholder for it. But within IEEE Explorer, if you're wanting to nest your search, you do it with parentheses.
Perfect.
Maybe, I don't know if that's what they're referring to as brackets, but something like that.
Right, yeah. Not so sure myself, but that's
it.
sort of what I was thinking was the brackets. So
yeah, so you could develop a search like that and type it in yourself. The key is you do want to make sure you put the parens or brackets, whatever you refer to them as, correctly in the search, and that you type in all the Boolean operators and connectors in all caps.
Okay. Great. Thank you. I'm just looking through new questions we've received. One question here is about the order of precedence for Boolean operators.
So very, very good question. So here on the advanced search page, I'm going to just show you guys real quick, a quick, easy way when you're trying to look for something. If you're on a page, there's usually a question mark that'll take you right to the help files. But we actually have an ad because this changed, I don't know, a year or so ago. So we wanted to make sure people were aware of this. But you can click on that and it'll take you right to the help files, where you can see that within Explore, if there are no parentheses or brackets used to designate the order of precedence is near or oh near, which we really didn't get into today, but those are proximity operators where you can designate how closely two search terms appear to one another. So the proximity operators are first, then followed by not, and or. However, if you place parens, that will override the order of precedence there.
Wonderful. Thank you. A question regarding the language of the documents on Explore. What is the story about that?
Of the documents you're going to find are in English. English is the language of engineering. We do have one Latin American journal, and we also have several conferences that are local conferences. I know of one in Turkish, so you may very, very rarely run into something that's not in English, but again, it's a really small percentage of the content.
Wonderful. Okay. Regarding the Scopus indexing, are IEEE publications indexed by Scopus?
Yeah, so a variety of different abstracting and indexing sites, ANI databases, do index IEEE content. We have feeds so that it allows them to take the content and index it. However, you have to be careful with some of the ANI to see if it includes everything or not. Some ANI databases have a selection process, and they may only select some of the conferences, not all of the conferences, and things like that. So it kind of varies from database to database.
Great. Have a question regarding the truncation sign, the asterisk on Explore. Can it be used, or does it work when you use it within double quotes?
Yes, yes. So it works when you're doing an exact phrase. So when you put something within quotes, you can use an asterisk. Years ago, you could not. That was one of the improvements and enhancements we made over the years. So because if you put something within quotes, it even turns off the automatic stem variations for pluralized nouns, verb tenses, and British and American spelling variations. So if you want to get those and more, you can put an asterisk in. So typically, if I'm doing a search for something like autonomous vehicles, I'll search autonomous vehicle asterisk in quotes to pick up both the singular and the plural.
Wonderful. I'm just noticing that we're at the top of the hour.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back to the last slide here. I do want to thank everyone for their time today. We really do appreciate it. Very important, if you want a certificate for attending today, you must click on the yellow certificate icon at the bottom of the screen and download the certificate from the On24 platform. This is the only way to get the certificate. You can also download a copy of the slides from the resources module. And if you ever have any questions for us, you can contact us at training@ieee.org. And we're just, again, October is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, so we do have a cybersecurity strategy webinar coming along with other webinars. So that link there, excuse me, that past webinars where you can